when I started writing this book, this was one of the key questions that kept coming up for me all the time. And it's one of those things where you just go, I don't know, it's just a thing, right? It's just a thing inside. And so to try and articulate that, for me, it is that deep down desire, that sneaky little inner voice, not the negative ones, but the hidden voice inside, that gut feeling that drives you forward no matter what.
The Podcast's Empire, podcast mastery for women in business.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Podcast Empire. We have a chapter with no title. And today we have an unstoppable guest joining us, an author who has unlocked the secrets to leaving an incredible legacy through overcoming adversity. Now, ROBYN's remarkable insights and experiences have touched the lives of countless individuals, inspiring them to rise above challenges and make their mark on the world. So get ready to embark on a transformative journey as we delve into the wisdom and resilience of our incredible guest, ROBYN Williams, one of the collaborative authors behind the Unstoppable book series, wonderfully produced by Elsa Morgan. Book number 3, the first 2 were Amazon #1 bestsellers, and I've got no doubt this number 3 is going to be as well. So sit back, put your feet up, grab a cuppa and relax, because prepare to be inspired as we explore the power of perseverance and the legacy we can all create. Let's begin this unstoppable conversation with ROBYN Williams. Welcome, unstoppable author, to the Podcast Empire.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is a real honor to be here. So I'm so excited.
Well, I am so excited about the launch of the Unstoppable book and yourself, ROBYN. You know, you are an entrepreneur, you're a peak potential coach, you help entrepreneurs, unlock the secrets that is keeping them stuck and pushing them into the best versions of themselves. So being a collaborative author, I'm guessing, is a wonderful step for you to showcase your story and who you are and how you overcome obstacles, how you leave a legacy. So what inspired you to write a chapter about overcoming adversity and leaving a legacy in the Unstoppable book?
Wow, what an introduction. My story is actually not all that incredible. It is completely unique to me, but it is not uncommon. And it actually saddens me that, not that I'm not unique, not that my story is not unique, but it saddens me that I am actually part of a sisterhood of women who were raised to believe that they are less than, and it really breaks my heart. And that's why I've made it my mission to coach as many women as I can through and out of this mindset of lack. So I have a vision to help 10,000 women overcome, and if I hit that target, then that will grow even bigger, but to overcome that self-doubt and to really build self-trust and self-respect so that they can get unstuck from their lives and really become unstoppable in their pursuit of their dreams. So when this opportunity came across my inbox, I jumped at it because it resonated so much with me and my mission and my vision that it was, I just had to do it. I felt like I just had to do it. And this book is going to allow me to get my message out to so many more people than I could have done from where I am right now. So it's just a wonderful opportunity, and it's a wonderful opportunity to work with Elsa and Aggie and all of the other amazing authors who are on this journey with me, and it's inspired me. Being part of this anthology has inspired me so much, and it's given me back so much already that I'm so proud that I took I took that leap of faith in myself and came on board this journey.
Well, I love how you touched on moments that have made you possibly feel less than, as you mentioned. And I love how you're using the fuel of your story to propel you out of your comfort zone, I'm guessing sometimes, to be able to really serve those other women that are feeling less than, because our stories have the potential to unlock somebody's prison or potential. And I firmly believe that. And speaking to unstoppable authors like yourself, ROBYN, only cements the idea that change is coming, hope is coming. We've got all of these leaders in the Unstoppable book series, the visionaries, the critical thinkers, the risk takers that are saying, no more, you are worthy. Come along, link
Yeah.
arms with me, and let's all rise above together. And this
Yeah,
is quite a journey that
absolutely.
you've been on, ROBYN, and you can tell that there's so much to your story just in your voice. And it's going to be so helpful to so many people. And what does unstoppable personally mean to you?
Ah, I when I started writing this book, this was one of the key questions that kept coming up for me all the time, and it's one of those things where you just go, I don't know, it's just a thing, right? It's just a thing inside. And so to try and articulate that, for me, it is that deep down desire, that sneaky little inner voice, not the negative ones, but the hidden voice inside, that gut feeling that drives you forward no matter what, like even through all of your failures. And trust me, I've had quite a few failures. I've failed at things so many times, it's not funny. But even through all of that failure, there's that nagging feeling that I just need to keep trying. I need to try this again. And to me, that's that entrepreneurial spirit, I suppose, is what that is. It's that, okay, I've failed. And even maybe, you know what? I've given up. I've decided that this is not I'm not doing this anymore. Stuff it. I'm going back to 9 to 5, and I'm just going to drift through life. Even after those moments, when you have this fire in your belly, and it might just be a tiny little spark at this point in time, when it's there and it keeps nagging at you and nagging at you and nagging you, when you fall down, it eventually pulls you back up. So that to me is part of being unstoppable. Another part is not letting the inner chatter, the negative voices that were imprinted by other people, not letting those voices dictate your story, not letting it say, well, you know, that's how it always has been, so that's how it's got to be for the rest of eternity. It's saying, well, it's asking the question, why does it have to be that way? Does it have to be that way? And that, to me, is a big component of being unstoppable. It's also about, I know it's just a long a long explanation for me how, but it's all intrinsically woven into how I feel. And it's about also being consistently growing and consistently shedding all the layers and the masks that, well, for me, all the masks that I created over my lifetime, to survive life and to get through life. It's about growing through them and shedding those and peeling back the layers. And it's about letting your authentic self really shine through and being the woman that you were born to be. So for me, unstoppable means I'm turning 56 in March, and it means that I will continue to fight for me no matter how old I am. I will fight for me and I will fight for my dreams, and I will be unshakable in my resolve to eventually, it might take me a while, eventually get there. So unstoppable is pushing forward no matter what.
I love that. And I love how you touched on failures, because they're just lessons in disguise, aren't they? And
Yeah.
it so reminded me of a quote, Robyn, that Les Brown says. And he says, when you fall on your back, you can only see the stars.
Oh,
And I love that. And it so reminded me of our failures are lessons. Don't give up, get back up again. And if you fall, all you're seeing is the stars. And
yeah, I love that. That is so beautiful. Everything that happens around us, to us, for it, like it happens. It's how we perceive it and the meaning that we give to things that matters. So, like you said, if we can take all our failures as lessons, to not do or to do, or, all of those things. Yeah, if we can take it as a lesson to help move us forward, then, life's wonderful when you look at it that way.
absolutely. The reason, the season, or the purpose. Absolutely. Now, this leads me into really thinking about your chapter with no title. And I love that. The title sometimes gives it away what we're gonna expect. But a chapter without a title, that's also powerful, because can you share maybe a little sneak peek or some specifics or strategies that you discuss in your chapter of the Unstoppable book about overcoming adversity and leaving a legacy? A little sneak peek almost.
Yeah, sure. So in the book, I share my experiences from the trauma. I won't go into all the detail now because then you won't need to read the book. But the trauma that I had as a child that really shaped how I would see the world and respond within it, and how I would see myself. And it's actually the first time I've ever shared that story, other than to my husband and my close people. I've never really told it, even to my siblings. Sidebar, I have siblings who are like ancient, so much older than me. They're actually all old enough to be my parents. So their version of my mum and dad is completely different to my version of my mum. And so this was really hard to write, because I started to worry about who might read it. So a little hint, it's to do with childhood trauma and what happened, and also about what happens after these events, and how the trauma responses can last for 50 years. And we can go through life oblivious actually to the fact that there was even trauma, let alone how it's affected us. So I actually have to thank my daughter for helping me recognize that I had trauma. And as soon as that occurred, all of a sudden this avalanche and tidal wave of emotions started to come through and out, and it was the best thing that ever happened, but it was, you know, pretty tough at the time. So writing this chapter, I had to be really super vulnerable, and I had to dig really deep to let myself be vulnerable. And it is one of the strategies that I use, and I include in the book, and that is embracing your authentic self. And you mentioned authenticity before. It's, if we're not authentic with ourselves, it is absolutely never going to be able to be authentic with other people. So when we embrace all of our uniqueness, and instead of hiding behind our masks and all the barriers that we put up, it liberates us, and it allows us to pursue our passions fully and engage with our dreams, and do it unapologetically. I can't get that word out. But it also means that we can create deeper and more meaningful relationships with ourselves and then with other people around us. So being authentic is so very important.
Absolutely. And you dropped quite a few golden nuggets there as well, ROBYN. I mean, trauma's in our DNA. It can last for generations until somebody uncovers it and recognizes it, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is a thing that I'm so interested in at the moment, and I'm sorry, you just got me. So I geek out on epigenetics.
Yep.
And the idea that, you know, my trauma could have been a lot of my anxiety, for instance, could have been inherited from the anxiety and the trauma that my father and mother had to go through during World War II, and all those sorts of things. And it can go back and back and back and back. And then you realize, so we can pass that on. So it's super important that we work on our inner self, so that we can cut ties with that tribal cycle, and then that genetic cycle of transferred trauma. It's fascinating, and I'm like doing as much research as I can around that to see how they can integrate more things into coaching to help with that.
Absolutely. And thank you very much too for being vulnerable and sharing this publicly for the first time as well. Peeling off that first layer is always hard. And the second layer and the third layer and the fourth layer.
Like
and it just goes on and on, right?
Yeah.
It just goes on and on. So your vulnerability for sharing this, but importantly too, you mentioned your daughter. So she may be the generational or genetic chain breaker to actually help leave the legacy, what this book is based on, for generations to come. The recognition, the awareness, and then going into that healing journey, because the person we are to survive is not the person we need to be to thrive, right? And you said it yourself, it can haunt you all of your life. And I'm so glad for people like you in the world, ROBYN, that are leaving that legacy and speaking about this. So it creates that movement of me too. I want to know more, want to connect with this person. she's speaking to me. That's my story as well. And that's where
Yeah.
we build community. And when we build community, then we can only move forward with love and empathy. I love this so much. This is the Unstoppable book series. Whether it's coaching, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's overcoming adversity, whether it's leaving a legacy, at the touch point as well, Robyn, you're an entrepreneur, you're helping serve other people for transformations. Can you maybe share 3 tips for anyone thinking about starting a business as well?
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to. Okay, number one, don't wait until you feel ready, because you will never, ever, ever feel ready. And so you will never, ever, ever take that first step. So just know that you're going to do it, and then work out how you're going to do it along the way. So that's tip number one. Don't wait until you feel ready. Number two, you do not need all of the fancy shiny things. You don't need ClickFunnels, for instance, right off from day one. You just need to have the very basics, and for a number of reasons. And you don't need yet. Let me clarify that. You will probably at some stage need these things, but you don't need them right at the beginning. What you do need is simple and uncomplicated, because otherwise you'll just overwhelm yourself and feel like, you don't know this, you don't know that, you can't do this, it's all too much. I'm not meant to be doing this, I feel out of alignment, and you might quit. So it's not that you are not doing what you should be doing, it's just that you are trying to do too much in it at the beginning. So just keep it really, really simple. The very minimal amount of tech is all you need. And that's when you'll set yourself up for success. So that was tip 2. Tip number 3, and this one's really hard because this can be a process to get to this point, but I think it's important that you have to trust yourself. Do not listen to the external influences, and do not listen to that inner monologue, that negative self-talk, the chatter that is there for a reason. It was put there at some point in time. It was created to help keep you safe. The ego loves to keep us safe. It wants us in our little bubble of safety. It doesn't want us to go and try new things. But you have to trust yourself and believe that, sure, you might stuff up a few times. You guarantee you'll stuff up a few times, but you trust yourself enough to know that you can learn from those mistakes, push through, grow, and keep going. And as long as you don't quit, you will achieve the goal and the dream that you so desperately want and deserve. So trust is a big one. I think that's super important.
It's super important. All 3 tips. Another lot of golden nuggets from our special Unstoppable guest, Robyn Williams. We'll be sharing where to connect with Robyn in our show notes as well. And what kind of message would you like to leave the audience on today?
Okay, do the inner work. We can only help people as far as we have grown ourselves. So do the work on yourself and find that light, because when you build your self-trust and you let that light shine out, that's when everything changes, and that's when we become unstoppable.
Absolutely. I love that. What a fantastic way to complete our Unstoppable interview today. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. We hope you found our conversation as inspiring as what I did. And if you're ready to embark on your own journey of resilience and leave a lasting legacy, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more empowering content. And while you're at it, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave a review and share your thoughts on today's episode for ROBYN. And to dive even deeper into the Unstoppable book series, be sure to grab your very own copy on the show note links below and immerse yourself in the stories, just like ROBYN has shared with us today, that will ignite your determination to push you beyond your limits to be the best version of yourself. So connect with our Unstoppable guest on her links below in the show notes and stay updated on ROBYN Williams' latest insights and projects. If you're feeling stuck, she's the person to go to. And remember, it's never too late to start creating your own unstoppable legacy. Thank you once again for joining us, ROBYN. We can't wait to have you back on another unstoppable episode. Until then, we will see you in the pod. Thanks, ROBYN.
Thanks, Tracy. Bye.
The Podcast's Empire, podcast mastery for women in business.